So today we have all three massage guns from Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet. In their opinion, of course, Bob. Well, we have all three of their massage guns here today. Let's take a look to see which one you should and definitely should not buy. Hey guys, I'm Scott with Before You Buy, where we do product reviews to make sure it's what you want before you buy it. And yes, today we have some of my favorite massage guns and some I absolutely do not recommend. Now, let's first get to the one I don't recommend. In fact, going forward from this review, I won't even include it in some of the specs here because it's the wand, okay? The thing I love about it is it's only $50, okay? So that is great. And you also have a good reach here with your back, right? But let me show you real quick why you don't want it. First, let me cut over to this camera up above. So, as you can see, as I turn this on, here's the power button. Turn it on. Look at these heads. See how they're kind of spinning in a circle, right? And if I turn it sideways, you can tell the amplitude, which is how far that head travels back and forth, is basically what you can kind of see it here. I mean, look, I can put my finger in there and it's barely doing anything. That's because the amplitude isn't really much of anything. So when that happens, you just don't have that punch, okay? It's not gonna hit you hard. This is just a vibration massager, okay? So yes, it is kind of nice for your neck or, you know, maybe your foot or something like that, a spot on your back maybe that you can't reach, and it's, you know, very affordable. Obviously it does have 5 heads that screw on tight, but there's no carrying case, so you just got this pile on your desk or wherever you plan on storing it. And you know, this is super lightweight and plastic, and it's supposed to be able to store a couple heads, which there's 5 heads, and you can store 2 of them and 1 on it. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense as a product for me, or one that I actually would recommend, especially when you look at the prices of these other ones. Okay, so this one, it comes in around $50. These ones are $80 and $110, pinning coupons. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set this one aside for now and just tell you I probably don't recommend it for you. Now, I have tested over 50 massage guns. Yes, over 50 massage guns I've used for more than a week or two. I've done some review videos. I'm going to post one down below in the comments, and here's the thumbnail here. I tested over 30 at that point. Now I have over 50. My recommendations are pretty much identical. I've even done a video on comparing these super tiny ones. Okay, so, and we do all kinds of other tech and fitness review videos, so if that sounds interesting to you, please smash that subscribe button. But getting back to these two massage guns, okay, it comes down to power, number one, right? So that we break that down into speed, amplitude, and stall force. So when you look at the speed of these massage guns, they're pretty much identical. Okay, they both start out about 1800 beats per minute. Now, the bigger one, the Q2 or C2, sorry, this is the Q2, C2, Q2. The C2 goes up to 3200 RPM. Okay, and the Q2 is only 3000 RPM. Wow. Let's just say it's identical. And I've also never not recommended a massage gun because of the speed. Now, what about amplitude? Okay, so amplitude is how far that head travels back and forth. Again, I'm going to cut over here so you can kind of see that. But as you can see, that is the amplitude. See how much farther that one is traveling than the other one? Like if I'd put my finger in here when it was open, it would definitely get pinched, right? You can clearly see that. Now, this has 8 millimeters of travel, the C2. Now the Q2 has 7 millimeters of travel. So same thing, if I'd have my finger right there, it would clearly get pinched. But 1 millimeter difference, now that's not a lot. But what is somewhat a lot is jumping up to the big dogs like the Theragun, the name product. Well, that one has 16 millimeters of travel, so twice as much as the Q2 or C2. Does that mean that these are worthless? Absolutely not. And that's because of the stall force. How much pressure does it take for me to push on this massage gun and get it to stop? So I'm just going to turn it on here real quick. And as I push on it, see that? That's called stall force. That's how much pressure it took to stall. So especially if I bump it all the way up to 5, it takes quite a bit of pressure for me to stop that. Now, how much pressure? Well, the C2's rated at 35 pounds of pressure. And the mini guy, the Q2 is rated at 32 pounds of pressure. So 35 and 32. Now, to put that in perspective, the Theragun is at 40. So relatively, these are both very strong. And I'm not a huge fan of that number anyway, because I've seen some that have super high numbers that aren't realistic. And I've used them, and you can even see my past review videos of massage guns. In fact, I even have a video of what massage guns definitely not to buy, because I don't care how much they sponsor or pay or whatever. I don't recommend that stuff, because if you can push into your chest and not actually get the pressure it needs before the motor stops, then the massage is worthless. Now, both of these massage guns I recommend because, I mean, even on low, oops, just turned it off, it has some pressure, but if I bump it up to high, with the bullet point especially, like, that's gonna hurt. And even in my hip, like, I start to feel that, okay? This is not a fake setting here. As long as it has enough stall force, that amplitude, how far it travels, is less of an issue, okay? The amplitude is how hard it hits you, and if it's too big of an amplitude, like the 16 millimeters a Theragun has, sometimes it smacks you so hard, even when you want just kind of a lighter massage, it doesn't matter, even on low, because it's still gonna smack you, right? That travels so far that sometimes it does still like hurt in a way. My wife personally does not like that. So I hope that helps kind of explain the power. Now let's jump over and see what's inside the cases. So now that I've proven that both of these have the power to do the job, and I can 100% promise you that these are the massage guns I personally use the most. I have 50 massage guns. In fact, we just had a competition at our gym. I do American Ninja Warrior and own a gym, but we had a competition at our gym, and I brought this guy with me because I knew I'd be on my feet all day long and walking around and judging and all that. Well, it got passed around to my employees. I just kind of had it sitting out, and to the point where a few of them reached out to me the next day and was like, wait, what massage gun was that again? Because that one is amazing. It's super tiny. We'll get more on that in a second. Oh, here's a spare USB-C cable. But set that aside. Speaking of which, I love that both of these charge over USB-C. Yes, USB-C, all the things. So I'm gonna just pull that out so you can kind of see what they look like in the cases here. So as I slide this over, the C2 you can see has the nice fork head, a ball head, which is, you know, this kind of nice foam there, and it's fairly dense foam. And this is one of my favorite massage heads. It's an air cushion, but it's very well made. I've used some air cushions on other massage guns that I promise that the head pops off from the plastic, the rubber comes right off. It's all but worthless. It has a nice flat head. This is kind of my go-to sometimes for the do-it-all, and then obviously the bullet point. Okay, now if you jump over to the mini guy, the Q2 here, look at that. It's basically the same heads, right? So you got the ball, you got the fork, you got the flat head, right? This one has a little bit more of a curve as you can see, but I mean, same basic concept there. You got the air cushion and you have the bullet point. But let me just show you on here. You can see that the diameters are different. This is the standard size of massage guns. So if you have another massage gun, for instance, you could still use this head, where this one uses a smaller diameter, millimeters of diameter there, as you can see. But that's what kind of comes in the case. They do have both come with manuals and USB-C charge cables. They do not come with the charge bricks. I think phones aren't even coming with the charge bricks anymore, right? Thanks Apple and Samsung, which, hey, I'll be honest, I have a ton, but maybe not everyone does. I'm a techie, I'm a nerd, but look at this, USB-C, baby. I love that. And I will say that both of these, the battery life are absolutely insane on these massage guns. They last, like for instance, this guy at the competition, I did plug it in once during the middle of the day, but I promise you it got used. We were at the gym from 7 a.m. until 11:30 at night. It was a long day. This got plugged in and charged one time, and it was used off and on all day long. No problems, because you're not just sitting there and massaging yourself for hours on end, right? You hit it for 10-15 minutes. Now, a common question I get is, do these auto shut off? Yes. Every massage gun I've used has that auto shut off in it, and that's just to kind of save the motor and make sure it will not overheat. Now, even when it does auto shut off, you can actually force it to turn back on, but after 10 minutes, it will just shut off. I've never had an issue with it in use, but just so you know, because that's a common question I get. And sorry, these are kind of marked up, and the case is kind of dirty because, like I said, these are the ones I absolutely use. So I'm going to put the air cushion in this one, and let's go fork in this guy here. And as you can see here, it does have a notch there and a notch on the fork. Now that's because otherwise, if it didn't have that, push that in, you can kind of see it lines up there. If you didn't have that, as you go across your hand there, what would happen is you would, this would start to spin and twist, okay? So then it wouldn't allow you to push where you wanted to, okay? So that's kind of a nice feature. Not every massage gun has that. But otherwise, both cases, like I said, I use these cases. The case size is fairly small. Some of these minis actually have a smaller case than this, but the quality is solid. Never had a problem with this. This is kind of more of a rubbery texture, where this one is more of a soft, just cotton type texture. I'm not even sure what that is. It looks like some kind of Gorilla Glue or something. Who knows? But quality handles, quality zippers. These cases are, what you would expect in a case, okay? I'm going to go ahead and set those aside. Now, I mentioned the price difference. This one comes in right around 110. This one comes in right around 80. Now, the price does fluctuate just like all products, but you can kind of see here the size difference. Now this one does, if you've ever held like a battery charger, like it looks small, but it's kind of hefty. Why? Because it's got some good batteries in there. This is kind of deceiving because this is fairly heavy relatively, right? Probably about a pound or so, because it does have those big batteries in it. Now, another thing often not talked about is the volume. Again, if you watch that review video comparing 30 plus massage guns, I mentioned this, where if it's too loud, I promise you will not use the massage gun. I have a friend at our gym who is afraid to bring his massage gun in because he has to like go hide in a corner to use it because it's so loud and people are still staring at him like, hey, what's that noise? We're not out there to make fun of him. It's so loud. You can't ignore it. But listen to this. So we're having a normal conversation here, and let's say my forearm's hurting and I want to massage my forearm. Now, the microphone's right here. Okay. So this is as close as my mouth is to the microphone, and you can probably barely hear this, okay? I don't have an opportunity right now to monitor how I can hear, what you're hearing, but I promise you, this thing is so quiet that, especially in a gym setting, if I was sitting here massaging my forearms here, even if I crank it up, you're not gonna really even hear it at a gym because the noise level, right? So if I pause, that's pretty quiet, okay? This is a whisper. Okay, right now I'm whispering. This comes in right about a whisper. Come on. Come on, whisper. Right about a whisper. How crazy is that? Where Theragun, that's more like restaurant volume, okay? And one thing to keep in mind with decibel levels, if you see decibel levels, and even Theragun mentions this on their website, how they drop the decibel level by so much. Well, one thing to keep in mind is every 10 decibels, it actually is perceived as twice as loud. So if this one comes in around 30 to 40, decibels, where this one's like 40 to 50 decibels, that means if this one's 40 and this one's 50, this one's twice as loud, okay? So it's not a relative number. So I want you to make sure that you keep that in mind. So this one's rated 30s or 40s to 50s, and this one's about 30s to 40s. Okay, now I'm gonna go through, again, microphones right here so you can hear the difference. Ready? Here's this Q2, level 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna show you these lights at the same time going up. 4, here's the power. And level 5. That is the loudest volume you're going to get out of this massage gun. Absolutely insane. And then you just push and hold. Now this little charge light will actually change color based on charge left. Okay, now let's jump over to the C2, the big dog. Here you have the battery indicators on the bottom. They look like they're flashing possibly to you, but in real use they're not actually flashing. It's just how the camera's picking that up. Now we got level 1 through 5 here, so this is level 1. 2, kind of showing you the handle and stuff while you do this. Level 3, some venting. Level 4, a USB-C charger and a charge dock coming, I heard. And level 5. Now that's level 5. It's obviously going faster than the human eye can see, or the camera can see, and the human eye can see actually. So I'm gonna shut that off. So those are the kind of two noise differences, so you can have an idea of what that's actually like. Now, bringing it all in, which one should you buy? I'm gonna say if you are going to use this a lot, and you're gonna throw it in your backpack, and you're gonna carry it with you a lot, I would probably highly recommend the Q2, because not only is it cheaper too, so if you want a cheaper one, get this one, but it's very portable, yet as I showed in the specs, it's almost identical. 1 millimeter less amplitude, 200 beats per minute less, which is, you would never notice a difference in human use. And battery life is basically identical. I just highly recommend this one. Now, why would you want the bigger one? Well, it is sometimes nice having a little bit bigger, massage gun to push down on. So if you're gonna be, not traveling as much, but you might still want it at the gym some, you want a little bit more power, right? A couple more pounds of, 1 more millimeter of amplitude and a couple more pounds of stall force, you might want the slightly bigger brother. Okay, I personally carry this one around with me every day. It's in my backpack at the gym. I use this honestly, I probably use this massage gun 80% of the time. I probably reach for this one about, 5-10% of the time, generally because I'm at home. And then the other 10% of my time is testing new massage guns so I can have honest data. Well, so friends, I've provided you with the data. I wanted to just give you all the information I know. Now, it's up to you. Leave questions down below if you have them, but which massage gun do you think is the right one for you? I know I always go so long on my videos, but I want to make sure you guys have all the information you need. Now, it's totally up to you. Which ones do you want to use? Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for helping. See ya.